Hello everyone, welcome to Cornflower Crafts. I'm Corn, and we're back up in the craft room. And not only am I just yippity yapping, but also am I chatting, I guess I should say. But I'm also going to do, some people call them ribbon rosettes. I call them ribbon flowers. And go through like some of the cute little things you can put in the centers, what you can do with them. I think most everybody knows how to make these. That's why it's mainly just chatting, but we will be doing those as well. Hopefully I am in frame. Yes, my desk is a mess. When I'm doing projects, I keep things out for me to see because I'll forget about them. And then I'm like, oh mercy, why didn't I do this and why didn't I do that? I need to show you all. Look at what happened just seriously 2 minutes ago. I hit this part of my hand. See how red and it's already bruising. On marble. On the edge of marble. Like, oh, and that hurts so bad. But anyway, I thought, let's cover it up. And also, I'm glad that I'm doing this video now because tomorrow morning, that will not be pretty. Excuse me. You know, when you get older, your skin does get thinner, quote unquote. And you bruise a little easier, especially when, you know, the bones are here and everything on your hands. But, so what I did first, and I don't have one up here with me, I took these downstairs. This is the first time I've ever done this. People have been doing this for years, but it's a first for me. And, well, first, let's do this. Let's just show you. Remember I had, if you were with me on my last chat up in the craft room. First off, let me thank you for those of you who visit me when I'm basically just chatting away. That's really sweet of you, for real. I really appreciate that. I had mentioned that I got these Yama Mega ribbon rolls at Rolls of Ribbon from Dollar Tree, guys. And remember, they're that beautiful pink and blue. And if I'm not mistaken, they also had them in a couple of more narrow colors. One was a dark blue, if I'm not mistaken, maybe black. And this is the 5/8, but look at that. You get 75 feet in these babies. Talk about a value spool. Big time. And I had mentioned with wanting to put these in the pocket letter, the little gnome pocket letter I was working on. But I had also mentioned that I would probably, if I put them in those pockets, they might get squished, and I don't want them to get squished. So I thought, okay, what I'll do is I'll just put them in a little bag, and or maybe a little box or something, so that they won't, I don't want them smushed, especially since for the centers I'm going rather big. And we'll look at that in a little bit. But first, let's just do one. And you know, when it comes to these guys, first, I ended up just making these 6 inches. And it doesn't have to be exact. It could be bigger, smaller, whatever you want to do. These are 100% polyester, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they are. So when it came to burning the edges, that's something I have never done until today before lunch. I'm weird about fire. I don't like it. I have a friend who loves fire, and she'll just take her lighter and I'm kind of the opposite of that, and so I've never done it. What I do to get my ends not to fray is, yes, you guessed it, there it is, good old fray check. Does it take longer? Yes. Is this something that's fun to do once you've cut all your ribbons? And then just put this on your ends, and then leave it overnight, you know, to dry. What does this say to dry? Because I always leave it for a little bit longer. It tells you it's flammable, so, and could cause eye irritation, so be careful with it if you decide to go this way. Don't swallow. Of course we won't swallow it. Mercy sakes. It says to allow to dry 15 to 30 minutes. So what you could do is, I guess, do them. Then what I have done in the past, then go downstairs for dinner and then come back up and mess with them. Or if you don't want to mess with them after that, just do it, go to bed, you know. But that's what I used to use. So is this a lot quicker? There's your lighter, and you just gently go over. I missed one of them, one of these one of the edges. So what you should do is just run your finger over, and it gets a little bit hard, to be honest, right there. And you can see just a tiny bit darker discoloration, a little bit, not much. And I would advise either the fray check or the lighter, and you can get lighters, nice lighters at Dollar Tree. That's pretty cool. So if I get out of frame, please forgive me, but here's the thing. I have very poor eyesight, and I have to get things close to me, and especially when it's stuff like this, it's to do things out, like, you know, out here, that's not going to happen. I need to get things closer. So, but anywho, so needle and thread. This is just white thread because I can do pinks and blues, I do this sometimes. It's not going to be seen, or it shouldn't be seen, but everybody does their knots differently. Mine I've done since I was a little girl, so they're I never did them different, you know. So yeah, mine's a little weird, but that's okay. They still work. So what I do, let me make sure. Let's see, I told myself if I stay around here, I'll be okay. So what I do is I come on the little edge here, and I do one stitch so that I can make a loop. And sometimes you'll see me dangle my needle because it gets loopy, if that makes any sense. Then go up here. The thing is, when you know, you've probably seen thousands of people do this. I'm 1001. Is it would be nice, and there are some people who can go in and out and make their stitches uniform. I think that's wonderful, but I don't think it's crucial. If I thought it was crucial, I'd do it on the machine. You know what I mean? Because it's something that I never felt when it came to gathering by hand. I never felt I needed to do it. So you're just going in and out with your stitching. Nothing, oh, see, now I need to dangle my needle. Nothing, you know, heavy duty. You're just going in and out, in and out. That's it. Staying kind of close to the end. And if you don't like to sew at all, then I personally don't know how to tell you to gather if you don't like to sew. I've been sewing since I was a little girl. My mother sewed for years and years and years. Even made my father a suit, for Pete's sake, when they were newly married. My grandmother sewed as well, her mother. Then my other grandmother sewed, did upholstery work. So there's, I come from a long line. There. And then, as you know, you're just going to gather it up. And when you gather it, it's going to do these wonderful little curves. And what I do is I gather it as tight as I can. Okay? I think this is like one of my first videos I did, and I made a mistake right away, and I think my daughter was with me, I think, and I said, oh, I left out a step, and she said something like, are you kidding? And I said, no, and I said, leave it. Because I think it's important to show that, yes, we make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It's called being a human being. And especially when you start doing videos, you get so nervous at first, and you get, you know, like so insecure at times. But then you get to the point where you're like, hey, this is me. I hope you enjoy it. If you don't, okay, it's all good. So now you've got these nice, very tight gathers, at least the way I make it. And you do not have to make them that tight either, guys. You don't have to do it. Since this has been, the ends have been singed, I bring my thread into the back of this. You can do two different things. You can either go ahead and leave it alone, okay? Which would be, leave it like that, okay? You can leave it alone. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to see one end over the other, but I mean, you've taken care of, there's no fraying there or anything, so you can do that. I personally don't. You can also get out your frayed check or your Fabrifix and put a little teeny tiny bit here, and then place one on top of the other, right sides together, and wait till it dries, which it doesn't take long, as you know, and then you've got that. You could do the same with your hot glue gun if you wanted, and you have one like the Sure Bonder, which I love, and make a teeny tiny. I wouldn't do that, but you can. I personally have two ways of doing this, and I've done each one on the ones. Can you guys see these? I'm sorry, I thought they were visible. These are what I'm thinking about putting on the tops of them. Oh, those are little Nomi noses, by the way, in case you're wondering, what is she doing? Also something like that, something like this. I've pulled these things, gone through my my little embellishments to see what I can put on the top of them. And look at this one. How fun is that? Woo! A cupcake. And remember, the person I'm doing this for loves blue, loves yellow, baby pink, which is what that is, and lavender. I didn't, because I only have these two, I don't have the lavender. So let's do another. Look at this one for this pink. Look at that. So, back to this. See, I get so distracted so easily or early on. That was a combination of those two expressions, and somebody's going to giggle at that right now. Now, it's going to get closer to you all because I want to come over here and join them together right there, okay? And what I do to quote-unquote seal that in is I do go through my loop, one stitch through the loop, two stitches through the loop. I used to do 3, but I'm trying to get out of that because I don't think it's necessary. Then I make sure these guys match up, and you can either go ahead and do your stitching down here and then come back and fill in your spaces, do you know what I mean? Or again, since these have been singed, I just go ahead and you can do like so. The other way, you're actually making a seam. And you can do these with teeny, whoops, don't go around, teeny tiny stitching, or not. Now I go back because the reason being I don't want a knot at the bottom here to be seen. Do you know what I mean? So I go back up, which isn't really necessary, but I do it anyway. And then knot it very close to where I knotted it before. Okay. Like so. And of course you can mess with your gathers there. And this is ready to cut now. So in the past, let me tell you guys this. That's why a lot of times I say we're just chatting up here because, you know, I do get stuff done with you guys, not all the time, but most of the time. But in the past, I used to get my hot glue gun out. It was a big one. It wasn't like this. I like this one the best of any I've ever used, to be honest. And I would put, let me show you. Let me see if this circle punch works. This is an inch, 1 inch. This is from the Paper Studio. Let's see if it fits with these guys. I haven't tried it yet. Let me see here. Okay, here's the glue I've been working with. Let's see, is this too big? That's a possibility that an inch is too big, but I'm not sure. In the past, oh, that wasn't too happy right there. In the past, that's a little big, if you ask me. Yeah, we're not going to do the inch one. I had that on my desk. That's too big. Let's see, what's the next one? Let's do, I think this is, yeah, let's do 3/4. Let's do that one. And see, I think that's the one. Okay. Now, what I would do is I would get my hot glue gun out and put the glue right here and basically in the center, a little bit around. And then I would place it here because a lot of times my fabric flowers or rosettes or whatever you would like to call them, they went on cards and journals and stuff like that. So I would do that first. And what you can do too is this little hole that you have in the center with the hot glue under there, you can, if it's too large, let's say you didn't pull it tight enough and you're like, ah! You know, you give a little scream like that, you do, like we do, or you know, you can close it up into that hot glue if you want. But there are times that I have a button, and if I have a button, I want that hole in the center because that's where I put it. See? I put it down right in there, you know? Now, this does not need to be here at all if you are putting this on, let's say, a gnome's hat. Not only do you not need it, but you don't really want it because you don't need the paper interference. And just put your hot glue there or your Fabric Fix or Fabri-Tac here. And in the past, like I was saying, in the past, that's one thing I would do first, okay? But if I had a flat embellishment like this, you know, sometimes it's kind of nice to push that together to make it a better little thing for that to sit on. See? Isn't it odd, the different things that go on here? How much they change the look of it all, from cutesy to kind of elegant. So one thing that Heather taught us is that this gem tack from Beacon, I never heard of it until she told us about it, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to try that, because she's such a clever, wonderful person. And she shares her knowledge. I tell you that. She's a doll. And this stuff is good. So let me tell you the story that happened when I used to do a hot glue on these babies and then put it down there. And I mean hot glue. And I didn't put just a dab-a-doo. I put enough on. I made something similar to this to a friend of mine. And I don't think she does this type of work. She ended up sending me something back with that piece that I had made on it. And this was missing. Okay? It was not in the box. It was not anywhere to be found. So that told me that this left this when I shipped it. Well, I have issues with that. I like things to get to their destination safe and sound. And so I was like, oh boy, that's not happening again. So that's why I now do the gem tack with those. I want things to stay. Now, with the gem tack, sometimes you do need to not just go, okay, that's done, especially with all of these gathers. I will actually have some good music on, and I would just put that there and, go like, put pressure on it for a few minutes to make sure, especially with all these gathers. Now, I do not know if the recipient is going to put this on paper or maybe even a gnome. I'm going to say gnome, but I could be wrong. So I'm going to include, I'll do the punches and include these and a little note, in case she wants to do that. What was I going to say? First off, if you do find these and you love doing the rosettes or the ribbon flowers, this is a fantastic, oh boy, a fantastic deal to have this much on here. Is really, really great. And like I said, they're 5/8 of an inch. They did have a more narrow one, and it looked like maybe 1/4 of an inch or close by. And if you don't want to do this with them, then just to share with others and Happy Mail and stuff, to give them samples and stuff, wouldn't that be fantastic? I think it'd be fantastic. Please excuse my phone. I forgot to put it out in the hallway. Oops! As you see, I want to use one on the packaging. And then I've got 2 more of them to do, or for each in each color. Is that 2? I thought I had more than that cut. That's odd. So, and then to have, of course, the pink circles underneath. And I do have a baby pink paper that I get from Michael's. I haven't been in Michael's for years because I got enough of my paper that I wanted. I like to get the solids from them, especially that pale pink is just so luscious. And the recipient of this agrees with me that baby pink is just yummy. And So that's what I'm working on now. Oh, one more thing. Also, what you can do. Look what I found, y'all. I think this is wooden too. A little wooden button. How yummy is that? And of course, I want to put it at an angle. And then your 2 holes are here. Of course, you just take your needle, and you can either do it just up and down, or you can pull like embroidery floss through several strands of your embroidery floss and then tie a bow. I've done either or, but this is such a gorgeous, let me see, gorgeous, gorgeous butterfly, and I love the colors. I think are just perfect, that I'm not going to have any more distractions with a bow. My only thing is now, what color am I going to sew it on with? But that's just going to go and be sewn directly on here. And of course, I've got an angle like this, but all you have to do is go like this to make it straight again. That if I were going to put it on something, I would put it at it like it's flying, like an angle like that, personally. And that's my view on that. And you can also do, I think I showed this already, you can also do just a little ribbon rosebud on the ribbon flower. I think that's very shabby chic, very sweet. I love stuff like that. You can also do one of these little flowers on top of the flower. I have some extremely narrow lace that you can do the exact same thing. Cut out your, or maybe even cut out instead of 6 inches, 5 inches, and have that on the inside, and then put something like this here. Just so many fun things you can do. And I just thought I'd bring you up with me and say, hey, hope things are going well. Oh, look, we're getting bruisey already. Oh, that's not going to be pretty, y'all. It doesn't hurt, right? It hurt at first, but it's going to look really bad. You know what I mean? It's going to look like it really, really hurts. It hurts big time. Oh, mercy. Oh, and I don't know if I showed, there's a Jimmy heart that you can put in the center. So many fun things. A pearl heart. Oh, I also had this one that I thought, remember when I did those crosses, how I did pieces like this? Well, I found the circular one, which I thought, ooh, I bet the recipient would get a kick out of that. You know? So, and again, if it's not doing what you want it to do, where the ruffles are, play with them. Play with it till you get them distributed like you want. And then your glue on this, and if you do glue on the back, it's going to keep them where you want them. So that's what I've been working on today, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye-bye, everybody. Take good care.